Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be using a bunch of used materials to create beautiful wind chimes. So today I've got several pieces of copper pipe, some plumbing that I've taken out of our house, redoing the plumbing, and I have an old used piece of wood as well. To get started, I'm going to cut a circle out of this piece of wood I have here. I'm going to make it as wide as I can. The pipes that I have are pretty thick, so I need as much room as possible. So I'll start with my circle jig on my router and cut a perfect circle out of this. Now I've got a perfect circle ready. I'm going to take it over to my routing table and round over the edges. Next, I need to start cutting the lengths of the copper pipe. And if you have a hacksaw, this would work. It's going to take a little bit longer. You could either use a hacksaw, sawzall. I'm actually going to be using an angle grinder with a cutting disc on it. Copper is a very soft metal, so it's very easy to cut with a hacksaw or sawzall, and it cuts like butter with an angle grinder and a cutoff blade. Now to make them look a little bit nicer, I'm cutting the bottoms of all the wind chimes at a 45-degree angle. The top is going to be square, but I'm also going to be stepping them down from the longest one, and it goes down in a spiral. Each one's getting 2 inches shorter. So that will give you sort of a spiral effect as you look at the lengths, but it'll also give you a bunch of different tones as well with the different lengths of pipes. Now this large wood circle is going to be what's holding all the wind chimes together on the top. So I need to lay it out so each wind chime is the same distance apart. So I'm going to use a little bit of math and make sure I've got all of them separated perfectly, and then I can start drilling some holes to mount them to the wood piece. So now I have 7 holes spread out perfectly for mounting the 7 wind chimes, and then I have 3 holes for mounting the top of the wind chime to a rope in order to hang it. Next, I need to create sort of a paddle at the bottom of the wind chimes. This will catch the wind and create the movement, knocking the wind chimes together and making the noise you typically hear from wind chimes. Now the paddle at the bottom you can see is taking shape now. It created 2, but I'm only going to need 1 of those. Next I'm going to create the circle that goes at the bottom of the wind chimes that knocks into the wind chimes. When the wind blows, this is what creates the sound. This block of wood will need to be small enough to fit in between all the pipes, but have enough room that it still can move side to side when the wind blows. I'm really excited about this, but I just got in my new sweatshirt from Amazon.com. I have some new merch that's available to you guys. If you want to go get a t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, sweatshirt, just go to Amazon.com and search Simon Says DIY merch, and that will show you everything I've got for the channel. Now I know some of you may be thinking, why on earth is he wearing a glove while he's working with power tools? It's not safe, and I don't recommend that. And I don't normally work with them on, but I just cut myself right before this project. I have an open cut on my hand, and using used materials, I don't want to get infected with anything that's on that. So I want to keep it clean and keep all the dust from the wood and the pipes off of my hands. So that's why I'm using a glove this time. Now I have all the parts cut out. Now I just need to sand down and polish the copper pipes. And you can easily do this by hand. It's going to take a lot of time, especially if there's paint like there is on my pipes right here. But I actually found a really easy way to clean this off that's going to go a lot quicker and looks beautiful once it's done. So I could take these pipes without even sanding them down and use a different technique to polish it to look just like this. So I tried a few different techniques, and this was the best one that I could find, and it was just really lucky that it worked perfectly. The chuck on my lathe fit perfectly. This was the smallest size it could clamp down onto, and on the tailstock it slid perfectly inside, like it matched the same exact diameter of the pipe, so that fit right over top. So once that can fit on, I could easily turn this on the highest speed and polish this to shine beautifully. I was thinking I'd have to cut a block on the lathe to fit perfectly inside the pipe and use that on the tailstock. That's an option if your tailstock doesn't fit inside the pipe perfectly, but this worked just right for me, so I didn't have to do anything else. So I'll use a couple different grades of sandpaper, start with some really rough sandpaper and work my way down to really soft polishing sandpaper. Now another tip with this creates a ton of dust. Same with the grinder while you're cutting. You'll most likely want to use a mask while you're doing this to filter out any of that copper dust or corrosion dust that you're sanding off. Next, I'm going to take the two pieces of wood and stain those real quick with some wood stain, and this kind of helps seal them from the elements outside and moisture. But I'm actually going to have this under an overhang, so it's not going to get direct weather. It'll be underneath the porch, so it shouldn't get too much moisture on it, but this will help preserve that wood a little bit. Next, I'm going to take all 7 pipes, and on the top where it's a flat cut, I'm going to drill a hole straight through the pipe. This will give me a perfect spot to weave a string through those holes and tie it to the wooden block on top. Now to create noise, the wind chimes actually have to create vibrations, and that's the noise you hear when they hit into each other. So using a string like this allows it to freely vibrate and not dampen the sound at all. But if you screw this down or fasten it to the block of wood securely, it's gonna kind of dampen that noise that it will create. So using a string to mount it to the block works perfectly. It will loosely hold it in place so that it can make the maximum sound that the wind chime is gonna make. Next, I'm going to mount the wind chimes to the block of wood on the top, and I'll start with the largest wind chime and work my way around the circle, getting smaller as I go around. I'll thread the string through the hole, and at the top I'm tying a block of wood onto the string so that it can't pull back through. Next, I'm going to take 3 strings. I've already drilled out the 3 holes perfectly spaced apart so that I can mount this and hang it from the ceiling of the porch outside. So I tied those 3 strings together and put a loop on it, and this will make it a lot easier to hang from the porch. Alright, that just about finishes up the wind chimes. I'm going to take them outside and hang them up and show you guys what this looks like. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. This is a really fun project for me, and my wife was really wanting to get some wind chimes, so it's a perfect project for me to knock out this week. Thanks guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, and hit that bell icon if you want a notification when I upload new videos. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.